Hello. This is the video of me giving a lesson about vocabulary words. I have chosen to do the lesson in the book that starts on page 446, the first read aloud of the Common Sense and Annecy tale. I'll only do the first read aloud lesson all the way through in the interest of time, and I will begin. First, we start by introducing the story to the students. I'll use the script they provide. So today, we are going to read a story called Common Sense, an Annecy Tale. Having common sense means that you are able to make good decisions naturally. Making good decisions is not necessarily something you learn in school. For example, it is common sense to turn on a light when it gets too dark to read, or to wear a coat when it's cold outside. A couple of words that are going to be in this story that could help you understand the story are the words calabash and prank. A calabash is like a big pumpkin. With Halloween having just passed, we all know what a pumpkin looks like. Some of you may know the Spanish word for calabash, which is calabaza. A prank is a silly trick that is done for fun, and it's simple stuff like taping a note on someone's back, or having like a chip can where you open it and like a spring pops out and scares the person. That's like a prank. Pranks don't normally hurt people. Now, let's read our story. Common Sense, an Annecy Tale. Annecy the spider was full of mischief. He loved to play jokes and pull pranks on people. One day, he decided to collect all the common sense in the world. Everyone uses these little bits of good judgment every day. If, Annecy thought, I alone had all of this sensible information, I could sell it back to people when they needed it. Annecy imagined people lining up to pay him for answers to the simplest of questions. Annecy, what should I wear when it's cold outside? What should I do when I'm hungry? This is a brilliant scheme, thought Annecy. I will have all the common sense in the world, and all the money in the world, too. So Annecy got a sack and started collecting common sense. Brush your teeth to prevent cavities. Put your socks on before your shoes. Annecy put them all in his sack. The sack was soon bursting at the seams. I need to find a better place to keep the common sense, thought Annecy. Just then he spied a calabash growing on a vine. It looked like a giant pumpkin. Annecy hollowed out the calabash. Then he stuffed all of the common sense inside and kept collecting. When Annecy had gathered up every bit of common sense, he thought, now I just have to find a good place to hide it. Annecy set off through the jungle to find just the right hiding place. He dragged the calabash under ferns and over logs. He waded through streams. He trudged from shrub to bush to hedge. He hiked up muddy trails and slid down steep hillsides. Finally, Annecy found the tallest tree in the jungle. This is the perfect hiding place, he said. The calabash will be safe and sound, and no one would ever guess that I've hidden such a valuable treasure in such an unusual place. Using a thick rope, Annecy tied the heavy calabash around his neck, so it dangled in front of him like a locket on a necklace. He started up the tree trunk, but climbing was hard. The calabash flopped and swayed. It banged against Annecy's belly. It bruised his knees and elbows. The rope burned the back of his neck, but even though Annecy was aching and battered, he did not stop. The thought of getting rich kept him going. As Annecy was struggling upward, he heard someone giggling below him. He looked down and saw a small boy leaning up against the tree trunk. Annecy called down to the boy. "What is so funny?" he asked. "You are," said the boy. "Anyone with a pinch of common sense knows that it is easier to carry things on your back, especially if you're climbing a tree. How foolish can you get?" The boy's words made Annecy furious. Annecy thought he had collected all the common sense in the world. How could he have missed the one piece he needed most? The thought made Annecy madder and madder. Finally, he lost his temper and swung the calabash with all his might against the tree trunk. The calabash shattered into a million pieces. The common sense spilled out, and pieces got caught in a breeze. The breeze blew little pieces of common sense all over the world. And that explains why today everyone has a little bit of common sense to use and a little bit of common sense to share. But as you know, you yourself know, nobody got all of it. It was Annecy who made it happen that way. Now that we've read the story about Annecy, let's talk about it. Do you think that Annecy makes good decisions in the story? Why or why not? Wait for the answers. Talk about it, have a quick discussion, and if you have time after that discussion, then ask another question. The other question they have scripted here is, if Annecy were a person, how would you describe him? I can't think of any other questions I would use right now. The next part of the lesson would be to review the teachable title word. So by asking the students, do you remember the word combination common sense? Then put common sense on a story word list and reference back to it often throughout the rereadings of the story and throughout the week after this lesson. All right, I think I will end my video here. Thank you for watching. Good